I gotta say, one of the funniest moments in this whole debate, it came from Hillary Clinton's attempt to blame Abraham Lincoln for the revelation via WikiLeaks that she says one thing to, say, those Wall Street bankers in private, and then a whole other thing to her supporters on the campaign trail. Donald Trump had a pretty good retort to all of that. Watch this exchange.
Lincoln was trying to convince some people. He used some arguments. Convincing other people, he used other arguments. That was a great, I thought, a great display of presidential leadership.
Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I haven't. Okay, Honest Abe. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you.
Okay, so thinking on his feet there, of course. You know, if she thinks Vladimir Putin is trying to hack into her email, you might ask, why don't you use a secure email server, Mrs. Clinton? Harlan Hill and Leslie Marshall are back with me on this one. I mean, come on, Leslie, what was that whole bit about Lincoln? Did she get completely caught off guard, do you think, with that question?
All right, you're not going to like my answer, Trish, but I took it very differently, and not just because I support her. I didn't find blame. I found her saying, okay, this is the context in which I said it. Let me give another example that I think she should have gave that was a better example. I think as politicians, there are their personal feelings on an issue, or maybe personal feelings on an issue they know is best for the country, and then how they propose it to the American people or to Congress to get it passed. Let me give you an example. Vice President nominee Tim Kaine, personally pro-life, publicly is practicing for the best interest of his people, what the law is and what he believes in for his party. Privately doesn't necessarily feel that way. We can look back to legislation in the Democrats' health care and other issues.
I guess
that would be an example
you know,
of this,
look, for anyone else, you might give him a pass. The problem is, Leslie, and I'll let Harlan take this one, it's Hillary Clinton, who has shown over and over again that she and her husband have a very loose relationship, shall we say, with the truth. So shouldn't she have been better prepared for some kind of explanation after the WikiLeaks thing came out, rather than just blaming Abe Lincoln and the Russians?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what's most concerning about this is that these emails through WikiLeaks are a window into who the real Hillary Clinton is. For a long time, we've speculated, but now we've seen the DNC protectionism that came out of that batch of WikiLeaks, the open borders and the promises that she's made to different Wall Street bankers in $250,000 speeches. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to see who the real Hillary Clinton is and have the evidence to back up our claims.
Yeah, and again, you know, we're still going through these thousands of emails. Reporters are still going through these thousands of emails. There's a lot of content there that WikiLeaks dumped.
Absolutely.
But you're right. I mean, it is giving everyone a window. And, you know, I keep looking at her and I question, Leslie, who she really is. I mean, this is someone who was a Barry Goldwater supporter, who then became very, very left, who ran a campaign against someone Harlan used to support, Bernie Sanders, who, you know, look, I don't agree with him. I don't think socialism is the direction we want to take this country in at all. But at least he's always stood for it. She, on the other hand, has really tried to play it middle of the road until that primary where she was coming out sounding like a socialist herself. And people are betting that that is the direction she wants to take us in. I don't know. So how do I vote for her if I don't really know who she is?
Well, I think the same can be said for Donald Trump, quite frankly. When we look at the inconsistencies that he has said, and we have tapes of the things that he has said with regard to being pro-life or pro-choice, for or against the war in Iraq, the list goes on. Both of these people, Trish, as you know, have an issue with trust among voters. He worse than her. And these WikiLeaks emails, not all, some like you guys mentioned, and kudos to Fox for that, have verified those that you're reporting on. But not all of them have been verified. Unlike Donald Trump, where I think a lot of people are saying, who is this guy as well? I think that is a question they're asking about both these people. But when we look at the polls and the number of people that have dropped out against Trump since Friday, I would say, quite frankly, that his comments have been more damning than the revelations from WikiLeaks about her comments to those at Goldman Sachs in a speech or the emails.
That's in part just the function of the story, the nature of the story. I mean, Harlan, the media has gone wall to wall with those comments because, you know, it's like the recipe for a perfect sensational story.
Absolutely.
of course you're going to cover it in a depth and in a length that, you know, frankly, it takes a lot of work to go through all those emails from WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
So and it's dry stuff. It's speeches to Wall Street banks, and so it doesn't have, say, the same panache that the other story has. But is that a problem in that the media is focusing too much on Donald Trump's comments and not enough on who she really is via these emails?
Well, luckily, I think some people in the media are actually responsibly covering this. And if you take one specific issue that I think is probably the biggest issue in this election, trade. She said that she opposed it, but we know that she negotiated TPP on behalf of the Obama administration. She called it the gold standard 40-something times. We see her in these speeches saying that she wants a hemispheric common market and open borders. So the window into the real Hillary Clinton is very clear if you just drill down and look at very specific issues.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Harlan, Leslie, good to see you guys.